The New York Knicks look like the New York Knicks. You talking OBJ on the Knicks chat? Let's rock. Intro one more time. What's poppin'? What's poppin', people? Hey, a little bit later than I wanted to be tonight. We had a late practice. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get out until like 9:15 tonight, so it was kind of late. But I'm here. I didn't even see the whole game, but I seen most of it, or good parts of it. But I guess it was a typical game, typical New York Knicks game. Not much that we could expect. Philadelphia is a much improved team, especially defensively. And, we played a very bad team in Charlotte, so we looked a certain way and was able to compete a certain way. But when you play a better team, this is how you're going to look. You know what I mean? That's what it is. I don't even know everything that happened in the game. I got to watch basically the first half, watch some highlights of the second half, or watch a glimpse of the second half. But I didn't want to try to watch the second half and then try to come in. It would have been too late. Nobody would have been here. You know what I mean? But the Knicks are just terrible. Knicks are just terrible. It's not too much you can say about it. You know what I'm saying? The Prince Bun, you're right. When Frank starts hitting them threes consistently, it's going to be ugly. You know what's crazy, though? As of a couple of games ago, of course, Hardaway shoots a whole lot more threes than Frank does. But up to a couple of games ago, Frank was shooting a better three-point percentage than Hardaway. That's crazy. But that's mainly because, Hardaway shoots a whole lot more threes than Frank. So the more threes you shoot, it's going to be harder to keep that average up. But still, I think Frank was somewhere in the 30%. So that means Hardaway was like either 30 or 28 or something wild. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Lily, I think you're very wrong on that. I think Frank will hit threes consistently. I think Frank can become about a 40% three-point shooter. For real. I think he can become like a 40% three-point shooter. He shoots it decent now. It's not like his shot is broken. When he shoots the three, you're not like, oh, this is a brick. He's going to miss for sure. No. You feel pretty confident that he can make it, and the shot is usually online. Lily Phillips, you say never. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I think you're just hating right now, for real. You're not looking at it. Really. He's a rookie. You know how many? Have you ever seen Jeff Hornacek's rookie numbers? You know what I'm saying? And he ended up being a 50% field goal, shooting 50% from the field for his career, 40% from three for his career. And he had numbers like Frank in his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? Chill out, Lily, however you say your name. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not with it. You ain't with it. You're wrong. I believe Frank could be a 40% three-point shooter. I'm not saying next season. Give him a season or two. He'll be there. You know what I'm saying? And when Frank gets stronger, he gets bigger and stronger. And from what we all know, from what we hear, Frank is a relentless workaholic. Lives in the gym. He's going to get stronger. And he's going to be tough to stop. That's just my position. He's going to be tough to stop. He's very inconsistent right now as a player. He's very, very inconsistent. But he's a rookie. He's a 19-year-old rookie. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to be really good. My opinion, he's going to be really good. Just give him a couple years. He'll be there. He'll be there. People don't want, people want instant gratification, but he'll be there. You know what I'm saying? He will definitely be there. So let's do a quick recap. And listen, I can't be on super late tonight. I'm not gonna be on super late. I got some things that I gotta get done that kind of got thrown on me at the last minute, so I gotta knock it out. But I'm here. We're gonna talk Knicks. Let's take a quick recap of the game. Look at some of the final stats and those things. I don't know how many people really want to look at those final stats, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, checking out the box scores. I'm going to jump right to the box score, and then I go backwards just because I accidentally brought the box score up. Beasley still had 34 minutes tonight. 22 points and 8 rebounds in 34 minutes. Lance Thomas, 18 minutes, 3 points, one rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover. Cantor, 17 points and 14 rebounds, his usual self. Trey Burke. I really like Trey Burke's numbers tonight. I really do. He took 15 shots. He was 7 for 15 from the field. 6 assists. He did have 3 turnovers. I don't like 3 turnovers, but, it happens. 2 rebounds. I like his numbers because he shot 40% from 3, 2 for 5. I like his numbers because he's a little more modest on the, on the shots. 7 for 15. I'm not crazy about. I'm that's okay. That's okay with me. For me. I like those numbers. Like those numbers. You say, King Ramirez, you say Burke was scoring, but he's getting killed on D. I will say this. He may not be the best defender, and he can still work at it, but he is working hard defensively. You know what I'm saying? He's working hard defensively. I'll give him that. When I see him out there, I do see him working hard defensively. And maybe he just needs to learn how to play defense better. But I think he's working hard defensively. I'm going to give him that. BN, you know what? For once, BN, we agree on something. We agree. I do think that Trey is still better suited to be a backup point guard, a backup scoring punch. But we talked about that ad nauseum in the last show. But I agree with you, BN. Luke Cornett had only 2 points, 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I'm not mad, though. He's played well. You're going to have games like that, but he's played well. I like what Luke Cornett does. I think he is a keeper. I really do. I think he's a keeper. Frank had 3 points, 1 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3, shot 33%. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. Don't like the turnovers. At some point in his career, his shot's going to be consistent. You know what I mean? And Frank is going to be a tough one. Isaiah Hicks, still not happy with Isaiah Hicks, only 4 minutes. Troy Williams, 22 minutes, 5 points, 1 for 4 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. Mudiay had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. We're going to talk about Mudiay in a minute. Damian Dotson, no playing time. Well, maybe we do, BN. I'm sorry. Maybe we do. I guess we talk about the tank so much. We go back and forth about the tank so much. Maybe that's why I think we don't always agree. So we probably do agree on a lot. We just talk about that tank so much. You know what I'm saying? But Damian Dotson, Hornacek refuses to play the kid. It's crazy. The season's going nowhere. And he's still not playing Damian Dotson. It's crazy. regardless of if you think that he's got it or not, play the kid. Why is he the only person not playing? But besides Jack, why is Damian Dotson the only person not playing? Freaking Isaiah Hicks is playing. Damian Dotson the only person not playing. What's happened? Did he do something? Something happened? Something going on between him and Jeff? Because the kid should be playing. Regardless, he should be playing. You know, there's too many guards on the roster. But Courtney Lee wasn't here tonight. Right? Courtney Lee wasn't here. So why not play him? There's enough minutes to go around. You can shave off some of Tim Hardaway's minutes. There's no reason for Tim Hardaway to play 33 minutes every night. No reason for Beasley to play 34 minutes every night. Dotson is injured. Okay. He's inactive. All right, I didn't see that. But even when he's active, he's not playing. Yeah, Marty, he's getting the Willie treatment. I don't know why though. I'm trying to figure out why. He works hard. You know what I'm saying? He works hard. You know, if he's inactive, obviously you got to understand that. So I wasn't aware that he was inactive. But even when he's active, he's not playing him. You know what I'm saying? Even when he's active, he's not playing him. You know, but you said 17 million reasons, but yeah, I mean, still, but even still. So I'm glad you guys corrected me that he and let me know he's inactive. But even still, you know, there's no reason for Beasley and Cantor and Tim Hardaway to be playing above 30 minutes a game right now. 6 games left in the season. No reason for those guys to be playing above 30 minutes. Yeah, CP, the artist, right. How can he be injured and he doesn't even play? For real. For real. Matter of fact, I'm going to check that out. I want to see what that is. Because it's no, I don't know. But it's a telltale, it's a clear sign about Jeff Hornacek. You know what I mean? You know, he's definitely on his last legs out of here. He's on his last legs. So it's Damian Dotson, it's his foot. He's missed 3 straight contests while dealing with a sprained right foot. Though he may be able to make a return. He was possibly able to make a return tonight. He should be playing. He needs to play. Whenever he gets back, he needs to play. He needs to be out there on the floor. You know, you know, Damian Dotson, I think, has the tools to be good. But, you know, Jeff Hornacek has been kind of joking him around. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he gets back healthy and Jeff Hornacek could get him out there on the floor. Troy Flake, you said Frank will be in the G League. I definitely doubt that. He will not be in the G League unless something traumatic happens. I do not see Frank in the G League. As a matter of fact, I was just reading an article today. I'm glad Ralph Unreal, you say Frank's defense is elite. And I agree with you 100%. I'm sure you guys have seen this article, and I'm going to pull it over right now. Maybe I'm not. It's stuck. Anyway, I'll bring that back. I'm going to bring that back. But this article talks about Frank and his defense. Right? I'm going to bring it up in just 1 second. It talks about Frank and his defense. And, well, the article really is about why the Knicks still believe in Frank Ntilikina. And they're not giving up on Frank Ntilikina. Okay? And it obviously talks about the development that he needs to make on the offensive end, but it also talks about where he is already on the defensive end. And some stats that many of you guys have probably already seen in regards to Frank and players that he has shut down while he was playing defense on them. All right. Some of you guys that say, oh, this is hogwash or whatever, that's cool. You got your opinion. But here we go. So it talks about Frank and him having an up and down season and those type of things and averaging 5 points per game. But why do the Knicks still believe in him? And why should we all still believe in him? And this is why. See if we can get down there. It says, indeed, defensive analytics shine a positive light on the Frenchman's work. Talking about Frank Ntilikina. In prior matchups, Ntilikina has held the following score list. John Wall, 14 possessions. Jeff Teague, 11 possessions. Tyler Johnson, 12 possessions. D'Angelo Russell, 25 possessions. Dennis Smith Jr., 15 possessions. Chris Paul, 20 possessions. Lonzo Ball, Tony Parker, and Jrue Holiday scored just 2 points in their duels with Ntilikina, each facing him for at least 25 possessions. That's a lot to be said for the young guy. That's a lot to be said. You know what I'm saying? CP says people need to do their homework. Frank's defense is elite for a 19-year-old. Definitely elite for a 19-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Frank is on his way to being an elite defender for his career. He's on the way. And that's not anything to sneeze at, because you need a guy who can lock people up and give other guards fits. You need a guy that can do that. And, eventually, Frank's offense is going to come around because his shot isn't broken. You know what I'm saying? The kid has a good shot, decent form. He will be a defensive wizard, as I just seen somebody say. I truly believe it. Big shout out to Siobhan with the super chat. You say, so Trey drops 40 and gets his minutes cut the next game. This is why you can't feel sorry for Jeff when he gets kicked to the curb. I'm with you 100%. I was thinking that earlier. I was thinking about that. Trey Burke played 27 minutes. If you're gonna play some guards 30 minutes, Trey Burke, if he's someone that you are considering keeping, then maybe Trey Burke should be playing more than that. Right? But just the premise of it all. If he earned the minutes, let him play it. If he's a young guy that you're trying to develop, if you consider him a young guy that they're trying to develop, let him play it. I guess that would be the only argument for Hardaway too, playing 33 minutes. He's a young guy that you want to develop. But there's none for Lance. There's none for Beasley. None for Cantor. Maybe Cantor, but I doubt that Cantor's going to be here. Although I like Cantor, and I would like for him to stay a Knick because of his contract size, I don't think he's going to be here. But, back to Frank. We've got to, we got to realize what Frank is. People got to go ahead and be patient with the kid. Hey, Marty, you know what? He probably does ride a bike to the garden. That's the kind of dude that he is, man. When he was in France, I think they say he rode a bike to practice, right? That's the kind of dude he is. You know what they say? They say he lives in the gym, eats breakfast and lunch in the gym, or eats lunch and dinner in the gym, something like that. Frank is definitely a keeper, and he's going to be a hell of a defender. He's already a hell of a defender, and it's just going to get better throughout his career. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get better throughout his career. And once he gets stronger, he's going to get stronger, and he's going to get faster. And he's going to, he's really going to be a lockdown guy. You know what I'm saying? Really going to be a lockdown guy. Let's talk about players rebelling. Are the players rebelling? Check it out. Another article in the New York Post, which discusses the players rebelling. Right? It says the Knicks' Jeff Hornacek rebellion is growing quickly. And maybe this article is reaching. Who knows? Who knows? The Knicks, and article by Mark Berman on the New York Post. The New York Daily News had something similar. They talk about Kylo Quinn screaming profanities at Jeff Hornacek. We all seen it the other night at the Garden. Obviously, we know what happened with Joakim Noah, the exiled New York Knicks center. Right? It talks a little bit about, weird, they call it a weird happening that Hardaway, ran a play, but I don't consider that weird. I think that's cool. But then it talks about, and CP the artist actually linked me to this article where it talked about Trey Burke. And he mentioned this as a reason that Trey Burke isn't a starter in the league, and I agree with you 100%. Although he probably earned on the New York Knicks, he probably earned the right to be tested next season as a starter. I still don't think he's a long-term starter for a very good team, and Frank will be our starting point guard. That's my opinion, and I think that's what should happen. But it says, in another bizarre episode Monday, this is Monday's game, after Kemba Walker tied it with 17 seconds left in regulation, Burke, feeling the hot hand, waved off Hornacek's attempt to call a timeout. Burke then waved off the play call, an attempt by Luke Cornett to set a pick, and ultimately botched the last possession and threw up a last-ditch buzzer beater. Okay. There's been sources about other profanities, thrown towards Coach Hornacek. Are the players rebelling against him? And that is a clear sign that his job is done. The players rebelling against him, it's a clear sign that the job, he's done. It says the feeling around the league is Hornacek won't be brought back by Steve Mills and Scott Perry, and that the club may target Doc Rivers and Mark Jackson. Meanwhile, according to an NBA source, the Noah and O'Quinn shouting incidents weren't the first time the lame duck Knicks coach got profanities thrown his way by a Knicks player. It says a source told the Post that late last season, Kristaps Porzingis, normally the politest of the souls, cursed out Hornacek during a practice using the F word. While players and coaches go at it behind closed doors more than you think, the Porzingis-Hornacek tiff partially underscored why Porzingis didn't show up for his exit meeting. Yeah. And when you have that, if you have that kind of discord in your locker room, you're going to have this kind of a season. You're going to have this kind of a season if you got this kind of discord in the locker room. It's up to Jeff Hornacek you've got to develop relationships with the players. Any coach, you got to develop relationship with your players. You're going to have your times. It's going to happen. I had my time with a player tonight. She wasn't working hard. She wasn't running. As a matter of fact, she was caught talking to another player and laughing while we were running, doing a defensive shell drill. So I made them all run, the whole squad. We stopped right there and let them know, if you're laughing while I'm talking and while I'm teaching, you're not learning. And other people aren't learning. So we're going to run. 5 suicides. She decided she wasn't going to run them hard, although she was one of the ones who were laughing and joking. So I told him, okay, you got extra suicides. She shrugged. Said, okay, well, you can run the rest of practice. She decided she wasn't running anything. So she walked off the floor. I said, good, you're done with practice. And we'll talk about the rest of your future with the team. You know, it's going to happen between players, especially if your coach is doing your job. You're going to have some rifts. It's going to happen. But it's also the coach's job to develop the relationship so that your players understand that you're teaching and coaching them out of love, not out of hate, not because you're mad with them, because you're angry with them, because you want to get the most out of you want them to get the most out of their potential, to reach their potential. Sometimes you got to push them as a coach. Nah, D-Gons, they're not rebelling. It's just one player who is rebelling a little bit, but you know, she has a habit of not working hard. And I don't let my players not work hard. That's the one thing that irks me. You can make as many mistakes as you want, but if you don't work hard, I don't want you on the team. Because not working hard is infectious. Working hard is also infectious. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. No Name, you said you think bumping heads with coaches and players is a good thing. You know what? You're right. It is a good thing. It's definitely a good thing because that means that you have some passion. You have some passion, but it's also up to the coach to make sure, it's up to the coach to make sure that you develop that relationship so that those run-ins and those bumping of heads don't turn into full-out dislike. You know what I'm saying? And it's the coach's job to develop those kind of relationships so that the players know, that you're getting on them because you want them to reach their potential. You want them to get better. You know what I'm saying? The guys, yeah, I know you're just joking. And, kids, especially teenagers, they're moody. You know what I'm saying? They're real moody. They come in sometimes and they're ready to work. Sometimes they're not ready to work. And you got to push them regardless, But it's up to the coaches to be able to develop those relationships. And if a team is full out rebelling against the coach, most of the time that means the coach is not doing their job. And it's been very clear that Hornacek isn't doing a job. I think the more and more, I know in the beginning of the season or middle of the season when the Knicks really started not playing well, I said I thought that Scott Perry would bring them back out of fairness. But right now, I think that I think there's going to be a change. There's going to be a change. And I just hope it happens quickly. I just hope it happens quickly. When the players start rebelling, you know what's going on. Because, that's the way it is in the NBA. That's the way it is in the NBA, especially today's NBA. So, we'll be looking at a new coach and a new system. And hopefully, really, I really hope that this time, when we pull in a new coach, that we really do our due diligence. And that's the reason why I think we've got to do it early. You know what I'm saying? We've got to do it early so that we can do our due diligence and then bring in a coach before the draft. But, I'm so tired of changing coaches, changing systems. We're never, ever going to have the consistency to be a winning team. So this time around, we need to do it right. We've got to do it right, and we've got to really, really, really go into detail with these coaches and find the right person. I think this is right now. I think this is a very important coaching change. This may be one of the most important coaching changes in the history of the franchise. Because we've been through so many coaches and so many systems, and nothing is working. We never have any consistency, and we can't build. Now, I understand when you change general managers and presidents, they're going to bring in their people. But there has to be a time where we say, okay, we like this. This is the coach that we're rolling with. We're rocking with this coach for a little while. And we're going to try to build a program, truly build a program, because every time you make a change, the program that you were building gets weaker, and the inconsistency destroys whatever you did build. This is going to be one of the most important hires in Knicks history, I believe, in franchise history. This one will be. And we've got to do our due diligence and find a coach so that we can build a long-standing program, a long-standing winning organization. Yes, we need consistency in the front office as well, no name, for sure. Consistency in that front office too. Because, everything is going to trickle down from the top. Everything's going to trickle down and eventually get to the players. I'm hoping that right now we have a front office that we believe in and we're going to be consistent with. And then we can, pull in a coach that we can say, okay, here's the coach that we're gonna build with. I seen someone just say a 30 to 40 year old coach. I agree. Someone that can be around a while. Because it's just too hard to continuously change and expect our players to grow and develop. That's one of the reasons why we've had trouble developing players. Because each coach and each team, they're going to come in with a different system to develop players. Different strategies, different philosophies to develop players. So if you have a player like Frank or KP that goes through 3 different coaches. How many different coaches since KP's been here already? 3? 3 coaches already? How do you develop? How can you develop that player when each coach is going to bring in a different developmental style? A different offense. How does that player develop? It's very hard. I know players develop in the offseason. They do. Right? But also teams tell players, this is what we need you to work on in the offseason. Here's where we would like you to develop, so that you can do this for us when you come back, or this when you come back. And if you constantly have a different system and different coaches, then this player is being told to develop different things, and they cannot consistently work on one area that they need to develop to fit whatever system is being played. So this is an important hire. When it happens, this is an important hire, one of the most important hires in Knicks history. Better believe that. Yusuf, you said Fisher and Hornacek, but he also had Kurt Rambis in there. Kurt Rambis was the head coach You know, I know. It's not. It wasn't a full head coaching change. You know, but he was a head coach for a little while. You know, he was a head coach for maybe a third of a season or something like that, somewhere around there. And maybe that's why Kurt Rambis is still here, just as for consistency. Maybe that's why Kurt is still there, because maybe he is the consistent person. I don't know. But I think as far as the coaching staff is concerned, the Knicks need to just revamp the whole coaching staff. Your developmental team, I think you need to bring in the coach and then, you know, have the coach interview, bring in his assistants, interview if he thinks there are Knicks players that could, or current Knicks assistant coaches that could be assistants for him or her. Let that person interview those coaches and then put together his coaching staff as well as developmental team. Because that developmental team is important to your success on the floor, right? That coach is going to bring in developmental coaches and developmental assistants that's going to develop the skills and fundamentals that they need to fit that coach's style of play, defense, whatever it is. Whatever it is. I'm going to briefly open up the lines. You want to call in, give me a call. It's going to be brief tonight. Because like I said, I got some things I got to get to. So I'm going to open it up. Give me a call. Talk to me. And while we're doing that, let's talk about Mudiay. The last 2 games that Mudiay has played, he's played very well. Mudiay, tonight, 22 points. 8 for 15 from the field. 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Played a decent game. Couple of turnovers, few turnovers, but he played a decent game. You know, Mudiay, the last game, obviously not versus Charlotte, but versus the Wizards. I believe it was the Wizards. Mudiay played well versus the Wizards. Let me check. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Versus the Wizards. Played a decent game. 4 for 8 from the field, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. That's 2 decent games in a row coming off the bench. How do you feel about him? Is he, I know, I shouldn't have said how do you feel about him. I know how people feel about him. Can Mudiay continue to be a consistent player off the bench? Is that just a better role for him to be off the bench? You know, is that just better for him? You know, maybe that is, you know, maybe he sees the game a little bit better coming off the bench. Or maybe him playing against the second lineup is just better for him. Yeah, CP, the art is true. None of our point guards show consistency. They all have potential. None are consistent. Burke's been the most consistent, I guess. Troy Flett, you say Mudiay will be a backup point guard. Okay. Something's got to break with, you know, something's got to break with our point guard. Something's got to break with the roster. This is definitely going to be a restructuring. Because, you know, people say, well, let Frank and Trey Burks be the starters. Start backcourt. But then if you bring in a true 3-man, then what happens to Hardaway? Right? Because right now Hardaway's playing the 3. So you can start Trey Burke and Frank. But if you're going to bring in a true 3-man, then either Hardaway or Frank's got to go to the bench. And it's probably going to be Frank, not Hardaway. You know what I'm saying? Because Frank is a rookie, or he'll be in his second year next year. And, he's still developing, so on and so forth. But then if you're looking in the long run, if people are saying that Trey Burke is the long-term point guard, which I disagree with. But then if you're looking in the long run, Frank's not going to be, Frank might be content with coming off the bench for his career because he's that kind of player. But his talent and his skill is going to say otherwise. And eventually he's going to need that starting spot. Then what happens? So, something has to happen. I don't know if it has to happen for next year, but something has to happen by the time KP gets back in that 2019 summer, I guess, to kind of clear up this clutter that we have at these point guard spots. Hopefully someone begins to be consistent and we can say, this is the guy. So I got my man Isaiah on the line.
What's going on, Simeon?
Hey, what's cracking, man?
What's going on, man? Shout out to the chat. Blackest Time was good.
What's up? What's good? So how you feel?
Man, what's crazy? I don't know why this game really bothered me a lot, man. It was just the defensive effort wasn't there. It bothered me a lot today. Yeah. It was just, I don't know, man. I know Beasley don't play defense, but he was getting me frustrated today. Just the simple lack of not caring and not trying. That's the part that got me mad, is the not trying part.
Right.
Just try and I got a few points. I'm gonna do this under 5 minutes because I know you got stuff to do. Mudiay is a bench player. Honestly, he could become a 6-man point guard or something off the bench. Because honestly, I was done with him a very long time ago when I read an article about, this is actually the last time we played Philly. And I think a reporter asked him something. He could have took a charge in Embiid, but then he said something on the lines of, it was basically the lines of, why would I do that? He's really big. He might hurt me or something like that. I was literally done after I read that article with him, because that just shows me he wouldn't do whatever it takes to win.
Right.
Right. When I read that, I was just like, yo, we don't need this guy on the Knicks. He's literally playing for his basketball career right now, and he's not. He's still playing the same that he played in Denver, with no defense, no consistency. The stats show he has turned the ball over more than he gave assists. And it's just a lot of things with him. I'm not a big fan of him. If I had a choice, he'll be a 6-man, but I just don't really want him on a team. I'm gonna always be a Frank guy, because Frank has every tools and everything that he needs to be a point guard in this league. What's crazy? I was so happy he fouled out on the Hornets game, because this guy is what's crazy? He reminds me of Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Eli Manning because he's not a rah-rah guy. He's not a guy that's gonna get hyped after he's a calm guy, and that's what we need. And he showed me some attitude when it was a video when he got fouled out. Michael Beasley asked him, "Did you foul out?" He just looked at him and then looked right back in the game like he was pissed.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
I saw that clip. Listen, man, you don't understand how much I loved that when I saw that, because that
funny clip.
It was funny, but it showed me that he gives a crap. He actually cares. And he has, and right there showed me he has that mentality and that passion that I know he's going to be a floor general for us. Because what other guy plays hard with 5 fouls?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
And then, you know what? Also, I've been waiting to say this so long, because I read something else too for the Frank haters. I just want every Frank hater to know, when he's on our floor, opponents score 5 less points when he's on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, for these Frank haters that only care about offense, He literally is a 5-point difference when he steps on the floor.
Right.
That
So that makes your offense better.
Are you kidding me? That's a 2-possession game. When he comes on the floor, they score 2 less possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now. That's just it's ridiculous with these Frank haters. But and then I'm disgusted with Jeff. He's gonna be out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my mama. But how much time I got left?
How much time you got? About 48 seconds.
All right, 48. Okay, real quick. All right, I know everybody clowning me right now, but I just want to say I hope it's Mark Jackson. I feel like he learned his lesson from Golden State and that he will be the coach. And, you learn from your first stint to your second stint, you know what you could do better. Last thing, Mikal Bridges, let me not get kicked out of my house. So, man, thank you for
don't get kicked out, bro. We don't want to see you calling in from the street, man. From a cardboard box. All right, man. Appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. Don't get kicked out the house. Don't get your girlfriend mad at you, your wife mad at you, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't do none of that. Don't do none of that. Don't do none of that. But, Mudiay's played well the last 2 games that he's been on the floor, coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see if he can keep it up and see how that goes. But at some point, we got to figure out this clutter and who's going to be the guy for us and rock with him. Really. You know what I mean? You got to see who's going to be that guy and rock with him. Give that person a chance for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Give that person a chance. Just, I don't know. I think when a new coach comes in, I think that's what that coach will do. One of the things is, for the last, few years, it's been, our lineups have been so inconsistent as well. And part of that is because we've had inconsistent coaching and everything's been inconsistent, obviously. But we've never just said, okay, here's the lineup I'm going to rock with, and I'm going to just go with this and see if we can make this work. It's always been, and this year is, of course, one where it's just been all over the place. Lineups all over the place. This new coach come in, I think they need to say, okay, this is what we're doing. Here's my lineup, and I'm gonna rock with this lineup for a little bit and see how it works. See how it works. Siobhan, appreciate the super chat. He said he just made an easy 202K. Easy 200. That's what's up. Shout out to you. You must be a heck of a 2K baller. All right. My man. Oh, I thought I had Nas Jones calling in. Call back, bro. Call back. So Mudiay has played well. Burke has had a couple of good games. Frank has had some good games, although he's very inconsistent. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game. Got to figure out what we're doing with these point guard situations. If we bring in Mark Jackson, we bring in a Doc Rivers. We'll see who they go with. They're going to go with defense, in my opinion, especially Doc. Doc is going with defense. Mudiay Raja, big shout out to you, man. Unbelievable. This guy just gave me a $100 super chat, man. Big shout out to you. And, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's big shouts, man. Thank you. I can't say it enough. I'll probably say that for the rest of the show. Everybody else will probably log off because I'll keep saying it. I hope I said your name right. Redoy, not sure, but big shout out to you. Thank you. It's much appreciated. And Nas Jones, call back. Call back, Nas Jones. And I do, for people who've been hit me with the super chats, I do have a little something in store that I'm planning on doing for you guys. I really do appreciate it. So I definitely want to, show you that love. You guys showing me love. I want to show that love back. So I do have a little something that I'm planning, and I'll probably be reaching out to you in the next, 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm not saying it's anything major or big, but probably reaching out to you to like get your address or something like that. Because I want to show that kind of love back. So I definitely appreciate it. And Redoy, thank you again. I really appreciate that. And like my man up here just said, Simeon, you the GOAT. Nah, y'all the GOATs, man. Because, I wouldn't have an audience to speak to if you guys weren't out here. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys always running in here with me. All right. But let's talk about, let's flip the script a little bit. And we're going to flip the script just a little bit. And let's talk about some football. Well, we got another call on the line. I guess we'll get to that in a minute. I got Mr. Moore. Corey, this Corey Moore?
Yeah, man.
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right. And I'm about to get you on. I see you Skyped in, so I'm about to get you on the Skype. Go ahead. What's up with you, bro? Talk to me.
No, man, just at home, man. I caught a little bit of the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch it all because I had some other stuff to do.
Okay.
Still, I know you're talking about Mudiay coming off the bench. I honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, we gave up a second-round draft pick. I mean, for a potentially solid bench player. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad deal at all.
And so do you think Mudiay will end up being a long-term bench player for us, or will he eventually, or is he going to stick with us, or is he going to eventually become, a trade?
A trade piece?
A trade piece, yeah.
That's possible. I mean, you talked about it earlier. I was listening to it on the way home. You talked about development, right?
Right.
We have 3 relatively young point guards, right? Trey Burke, Frank Ntilikina, and Emmanuel Mudiay.
Right.
I don't really think that we can make the decision on who's going to be our long-term fix just yet. We have to give them a little bit of opportunity to, one, get acquainted with the organization, mm-hmm. And then 2, develop, right? Then this off season rather is going to be a pivotal part, and both of those things.
Right.
I think we need to, one, like you said, bring in a solid coaching staff, and that includes developmental coaches, right? Somebody that works with the point guards, especially, because Hornacek, he really wasn't big on having too many people in his circle, and I think that will go a long way with deciding who is heads and tails above the others.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Definitely need a new coach with some new developmental pieces and assistants out there, and really just kind of revamp it. Really revamp that coaching staff and put a serious staff in there. And I think if you do that, you're going to see the players. You see the players respond.
Oh yeah,
you will definitely see the players respond.
For sure. If you get somebody that is going to ride for you, you have no problem riding for that person, right? And I don't think that they're riding with him for right now. Being Hornacek, they're just not playing for him, and they're not playing for each other. And I think once we get an established coach, right? And just my personal opinion, I think the best coach for us would be Mark Jackson, just because he has that that mentality that he's not going to take too much, which is exactly what we need as a team, especially full of young players, full of young, headstrong players, right? We need somebody that's going to stand up to the nonsense, right, and put them in a place.
Okay. Mark Jackson, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers sounds like it could be a candidate. I think if the Knicks went for Doc Rivers, I think that they might have to give up a draft pick or something,
yeah,
like a second round draft pick or something.
I've never really been a big fan of Doc Rivers. I mean, he had a little bit of success in Boston, and he did a little bit of a good job in Orlando when he was there for a short time. But if you look at the Clippers, I think he's just too fixated on being too big a personality. You know, he wants to have his hand in everything, and I don't think that's what we need.
You know, Mark Jackson's going to be a big personality too.
Oh yeah, but it's in a different regard, right? Because Mark Jackson, he's not fixated on, oh, let me control who we pick up, right? He doesn't want to be the head of player operations or head of basketball operations and the head coach at the same time.
Yeah, and that doesn't work. That doesn't work, and that's why they took him out of that position and put him back to just being the coach. And I can tell you, Scott Perry's not going to have that here. For sure.
Yeah. So I don't see that being a good option for us, to be honest. I mean, I like him as a coach, just not for us. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And then I also want to. I know you're all against the quote unquote tanking, right?
Yeah. I'm not a tank guy.
Your big stance, right?
Huh?
And I don't have a problem with that. I definitely get what you're saying as far as it's hard to establish a winning culture, but I think that point is too labored on too much, right? Because we sit here and say, has a team ever won a championship having a bad culture?
Have they ever won a championship having? I wouldn't think that they did.
That's because we associate winning. That's because in our minds we associate winning with a good culture, right?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because if you look at the Portland Jailblazers, I don't know if you remember them. The Portland Jailblazers, that's what they called them. They were a really good team. They were a decent team. They would make the playoffs, but they had a really bad culture. And I'm not going to say they were a really, really good team. They were an okay team. But they had a really bad culture. Guys going to jail, all kinds of stuff happening, and they never went anywhere. Those players ended up getting split up, going here, going there, because they just had a bad culture. You know, they had some players at the time, young guys like Zebo and Rasheed Wallace that, you know, they was kind of wild. You know what I'm saying?
But it worked for them, right? I mean,
but they didn't win anything. You know?
Yeah. But my thing is that we have a huge problem with talent, right? We have a lot of potential, but we don't have any actual established talent. Right now, the way that our organization is ran, aside from this year, we're starting to take some good steps in a proper direction, but everybody seems to forget that I don't think anybody wants to play for an organization that is ran by James Dolan, because he just has too many problems socially with the rest of the league, and mainly its players. And I think that's going to affect us in the bid for a good player, or not a good player, but a transcendent player coming up to the 2019 draft, or 2019 free agency rather. So I think the best way for us to acquire talent is through the draft. I mean, I know nobody wants to hear that, and I don't want to, hear that either. But it's true.
Now, well, see, this is my thing. I don't have a problem with acquiring players through the draft, right?
Yeah.
But still, I just believe what you do is, you know, you can make the decision to say we're going to develop our young guys, but when you see, some people just associate. You can lose and have a good culture, right?
Yeah.
You have a good culture of you're teaching guys how to win, and they do the right things on and off the floor, right? And in my opinion, I think tanking is becoming such a pronounced or prominent word that any team that is losing, people associate with tanking, and I don't think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think that you can be a team that's not winning. You're just not very good. You may be trying to win, but you're just not very good. That doesn't mean that you're tanking. I think when a team is actually tanking, they do what Chicago has done this year and just sit players, injured or not, or what Phoenix did with Eric Bledsoe last year. Just sit them out because they don't want to win games. And I don't think that's positive for your team or your culture. I think you make the decision that we're going to play young guys. The season isn't going well, so we might as well get something out of the season. Let's play our young guys. Let's teach them how to win. You're probably going to end up losing games anyway. That's what my idea. That's what I'm saying. I'm not, So and you do that, and you can still end up in the draft and get a player in the draft. But I think you still have to go through the processes that you go through to win. You still prepare and practice. Like, for example, they've said the last 4 days that the Knicks had off, I read it somewhere, Jeff Hornacek didn't practice. Right? To me, that's tanking. Because if you're not practicing, then you're not preparing. I can understand you have a day off to get rest. Right? But if you're not practicing, then you're not preparing. You're not putting the same energy into trying to develop a strategy to beat a team. And I think that even with your young guys, that's a crucial element to developing your young players is helping them, watching film, talking about strategy, saying this is what we want to do when we get on the floor. This is what we're going to do against this player. This is what we're going to do against this player, and see if we can execute it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a crucial part of a player's development. You might not win because they're young players.
Yeah, I get you.
So that's the difference that I see between tanking and a team that's not very good and they're losing. But you still try to win that game. You may not try to win with your vets, but you still try to win that game by going through all the processes necessary to win. So that's my idea of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off because I know you got other things to do. But my point is on that is just that I don't think these last 3 wins, I know given your perspective, you might think that they're good wins, but I don't think that the good of those wins outweighs what we could have gotten in the draft if we hadn't gotten those wins.
I respect that. I respect that for sure. Yeah, good call, man. I'm gonna let you go because I know we got some other people calling in.
Oh yeah,
good call. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. I want to say something real quick before I let you go, man. I appreciate everything that you do for the Knicks community, man. You giving a voice to us. You're doing really big things, and I see down the road in a couple years you could be something special. So
appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you taking my call, man, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you, Corey.
No worries, man.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys, man. Everybody, you guys give me a lot of love, and I want to throw that love right back to you. Always. You know what I'm saying? Always want to throw that love right back to you. All right. But let's talk about this OBJ situation a little bit. I know a couple people tried to call in. Tony Crow called me back. Nicholas Gay called me back. What's up with OBJ and the New York Giants? And I know this is a Knicks chat, but what's up with OBJ? So Nicholas Gay, and I'm a Giants fan. That's why I'm talking about the Giants. So I'm trying to get Nicholas Gay on, but it's not working. For some reason, it's stuck. It wouldn't pick up. But I don't know. What do you guys think about OBJ? He has a lot of antics, always. A lot of things happen with OBJ, with Odell. Do we keep Odell? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to tell you. For some reason, my Skype... Oh, here we go. Yusuf, what's poppin', bro? What's poppin', man?
Look at that for an hour.
Oh, you know me, man. Same old, same old.
Hey, what you got rocking in the background, bro?
Real talk, though.
Oh, my
I've
bad.
always been your what if guy.
Oh, you bad. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, yeah, you had to turn that down.
Okay, much better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay,
That's better.
my bad. First and
Yeah.
foremost, of course.
I
shouts
was
to
like,
you.
hold up. He calling us up with
man,
the
you know
ladies
me,
in the
man.
background.
Static,
What's
background
up?
noise. You know me. The chat hates me sometimes, man. You know what it is. But no, I heard you wanted to chime in about some football, man. I just wanted to say one thing about Odell.
Yeah.
Now, me, I'm a Cowboy fan, so
Okay.
you guys can drag me through the mud for that. But
Oh, yeah.
it is what
that
it is.
hurts, though, bro. That
Does it?
hurts. That hurts, man. I
Oh,
hate
I'm
the
sorry.
Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys.
Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. That's the team, though. But
Let me tell you, out of the whole NFC East, that's the team that I hate the most. I
Oh,
live in
come on.
D.C., so I respect
Okay.
the Redskins a little bit.
true. And you know what's one thing?
I hate the Cowboys.
Okay, fair enough to me. I'll give you a little history lesson. You probably know this. You're an OG and I'm an OG, so we know these things. But I came to DC one time and I saw I saw all my brothers and my sisters wearing Dallas Cowboy jerseys. I'm like, yo, I don't get it. Why are there a lot of black Cowboy fans in DC?
There are crazy Cowboy fans in D.C.
Exactly.
The
And then
rivalry is off the chain here. Dead up.
Exactly. And then my cousin told me the Redskins were the last team to let black players play. The Cowboys were the first. Something along those lines. And I might have my facts mixed up or something, but he explained it that way. And I was like, you know what? We just got fans everywhere. So that's besides the point.
Yo,
But,
there's like something happened in the past. I forgot
Yeah.
exactly what it was, but one of the two teams either stole the theme the theme song or whatever it was,
Yeah,
right? But the rivalry is off the chain.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's really off the chain in DC. They hate each other.
Oh yeah. The hate is real. But I just wanted to talk about this one situation with Odell, and like it mirrors a situation that we had with Dez when he came off that year where he had like 14 touchdowns and like 1,200 yards. Why was it that the owners were digging and prying and looking for videos and evidence and stuff that would incriminate him or any kind of compromising footage that would make them be in a position of power over him when it comes to negotiating a contract? They said, oh, there's a video of him at a Walmart parking lot dragging a woman out of a car and beating her and da-da-da. And this is fresh off the Ray Rice stuff. So They're like, oh, wait till that video gets out. That rumor surfaced for so long, and Dez just stood strong. He had Rock Nation behind him, and he's like, nope, pay me or I am not playing. Mm-hmm. And he got paid. You know, he got paid a fair bit amount of money, and he's maybe not living up to that money right now, but more so because he's hurt and everything. However, is this not a trend? Why is it that there's videos surfacing of him, of Odell, you know, with models doing blow and him, you know, smoking a joint or whatever, and it's like, okay, pretty opportune time for the Giants to, you know, come across this, or for the world to come across this type of video when it's bargaining time.
My only thing, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, right? You know, all of a sudden these things come out when it's time to bargain for a deal. But if I'm a player, if I'm Odell, if I'm Dez, whoever I am, I don't do none of that.
Oh no, never.
You know what I'm saying?
You stay home. You don't
stay
leave the
away
house.
from all that. You know what I mean?
As a matter of fact, you bring the gym to your house. You don't even go
exactly.
nowhere.
You know, so that way, if there's no video to be surfaced,
exactly, there's no truth to it.
There's nothing they can say.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And even when there isn't a video, they're still gonna try to franchise tag you. Look at what's happening to Le'Veon Bell right now.
Right. And
you know what I mean?
They might.
And what was crazy is these running backs have a short shelf life. Like, their shelf life is not that much. They're the ones taking all the hits. They're the ones in the trenches, getting knocked down, getting back up, getting knocked down. 3 downs in a row, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't last long. The Adrian Petersons don't come around every day.
Right.
And with the receivers, you know, like Odell, he's it was Randy Moss and Odell. Like, Do you get what I'm saying? Like he leapfrogged a bunch of guys when it comes to like that stardom, that level of stardom. We have not seen this in so long.
That's true. Not with the Giants.
And it's now it all worked out beautifully because big market,
right?
Huge personality, likable. Very easy to get, endorsements, and he's got a lot of things going off the field, and you know what I mean. Sometimes he's having sleepovers with Drake and Calabasas, and you name it. You know what I mean. But other than that, I mean, he's a phenomenon. He's like a once in a he might even be bigger because of how the landscape of social media and everything is.
Right.
Then Randy Moss. Back then, Randy Moss was just okay. He was Randy Moss. But Randy Moss wasn't there was no social media and there was no, crazy endorsement deals like that back then because in football, let's keep it real. You get the money Odell got in basketball, that's not really much. But in football, that's a lot.
Right.
And he's
My only
worth
thing
it.
with Odell, I mean, is at what point does it become addition by subtraction with Odell?
Right, with what you're getting
saying?
versus what you're going through.
Right. At what point does it come down to that? Because, Odell, listen, you're not gonna come by another talent like Odell.
Never.
You're not gonna come by another talent by Odell. But at what point, man, does his personality and his antics override the positives that he brings to the field?
That's true.
And if you can't, the one chance he had in the playoffs to show and prove that no matter what my antics are, I'm going to produce, the one chance that he's had, he blew it.
That's true. But you know what? It's also not so much on him as much as it's on the fact that the Giants haven't had a running game since what? Bradshaw maybe? Brandon Jacobs?
Bradshaw, Amar Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs. Yep.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And because of that, that opens the field for a lot of guys, right? When that opened the field for Dez, when DeMarco was running for God knows how many yards that year, he was wide open. The defense had to pick their poison.
Right.
And Odell has been doing that even without the strong running game. So I feel like when the strong running game comes, because the defense is already set, Eli can be, Eli's Eli. Let's not take anything away from his resume. He's the Manning-faced God. He's, you know what I mean, a man of three emotions.
Eli is Eli, but his window is closing real quick.
It is, and they need to get somebody in there sooner rather than later because it's hard to find QBs.
Yeah.
And in the long run, I feel like that trip to Miami before that Green Bay game didn't really serve any justice. However, I think it's something that you learn and you go through as a young player in the league. And with the amount of attention that's also on him, right? Because a guy like, Julio could have did the same and nobody really would have.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Nobody really would have taken it that bad. They would have been like, I guess he's in Miami if they know.
Yeah,
but with Odell, it's, oh my God, Odell, he just ordered a box of pizza. He has a game tomorrow. How could he? You know what I mean? So it's like anything he does, it's a loss, right? And the people that are in that category right now is like the Zekes, Ezekiel Elliott, Odell Beckham. Like these guys, they're young, they're great, but they're also under a lot of intense scrutiny, and the camera's on them, the eyes are on them. No matter everything they do, if they put out a cryptic tweet, the media will have a field day.
Right. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Yusuf, I got some other people trying to get on, man.
Oh, for sure. Oh, one last thing. For all you Frank haters, maybe we'll sign Odell at point guard.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott, Odell Beckham, like these guys are young.
Hey, Tony, do me a favor. Can you take that down in the back a little bit? There we go.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, we live?
Yeah, you live, man. You live. And I had to I really didn't want to have to cut Yusuf off. And I accidentally did it last time, but I cut him off this time because he's a Cowboys fan. I let him talk way too long. Once I found out he's a Cowboys fan, I let him talk way too long. I should have cut him off earlier.
See, I got
you should have let me know you're a Cowboys fan, man.
Cowboys.
Nah, I didn't really mean to cut you off. I was trying to mesh the calls with Yusuf, you, and I was trying to get Yusuf on, let him finish while I added you in. But I'm still working that kink out. But anyway, good thing it happened anyway because he's a Cowboys fan. But what's poppin', Tony, man? What's up?
I hate the Cowboys too. Quick touch on Odell. I think he has overplayed his contract. I do think they should pay him.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I think you just mentioned it as well. He had the opportunity to show and prove, and he didn't.
Right.
So I say he should be penalized and have to play the contract he signed. You know what I mean? Like, if he had the opportunity to have all doubters shut up, listen, look at what I did, and he dropped the ball twice.
Exactly. couldn't hold on to the ball. I mean, he's, look, I really like Odell. I'm a crazy Giants fan. I really do like Odell, but I get tired of all the antics, all the sideline garbage and all of that. I just want him to shut up and play ball. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is this. Look, he dedicates himself to his craft, for sure, without a doubt. He works hard. He comes to camp in shape. He does all the things football-wise you need him to do, except for, of course, that playoff game. But at some point, all of his little antics is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the team. Because it's bringing unnecessary attention instead of just letting guys focus on the game of football. You got to hear all this garbage about Odell this, Odell that. Simon Crocs, go somewhere. Nobody don't like the Eagles. Nobody care about the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody care about the Eagles. They won one Super Bowl in the lifetime of being of Philadelphia, and now they think they whatever.
Listen, I'm happy they beat the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm happy too.
That's over and done with.
I'm happy too. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if they win again. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do again. I ain't gonna lie. I was rooting for him. Exactly.
But
CP the artist.
What's up?
CO. It got old.
What's up with the game tonight? I think one of the callers earlier mentioned, we have three young point guards with potential. I say we ride those three horses and see what we have in a full season. And and like I keep saying, with the draft, we stick with that small forward or defensive center, and see what we can do with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely know. Well, I can't say I know, but they definitely should stick with them going forward and really try to work that out next year. You know what I'm saying? Work out, get a chance to see how Frank develops, give Mudiay an off-season regimen, tell that man to get in shape. Next year is Mudiay's contract year.
Yep.
Right? He's got to know that. His people know that. His team knows that. He could come in really good shape and ready to prove that he belongs in the NBA. We'll see.
Last episode, was it you that mentioned articles talking about us having Trey Burke's bird rights?
Yeah, we have his early bird rights. And so we can. He has a non-guaranteed contract for $1.8 million. They can sign him. I just seen something about how they could sign him for like $7.8 million or something like that.
Yeah, the following after next year. And
I don't know if I don't know if they were saying after next year or this summer.
No, I don't believe it's this summer because his contract is signed. It's just like Jared Jack basically. So it's after this year we'll have his birds rights and we'll be able to go over the cap. So if we sign him last and we sign whoever else we're gonna sign first, then we can use his bird rights to go over the cap to sign him if we choose to.
Yeah, let's see.
I believe that's how.
Let's see if I can pull. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. It was, I think it was from Ian Begley that I seen it. He put it on his Twitter page or something like that. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're referring to the same article, but I just think I don't believe it's this summer that he's referring to. It's next summer.
Okay, next summer.
Because he's.
Let's see. It says. See if I can pull this up here. It says something to note on Trey Burke per Bobby Marks 42. The Knicks will have his early bird rights next summer, right? Which would allow them to go over the cap to re-sign him. This benefits New York Knicks because Burke's cap hold is $1.6 million in 2019. Yeah, yep, that's next summer. Right.
Yeah. So we're in a perfect position to stay pat with the point guard position. Ride that out, and if we have to make a move, it would be best to do that the following, not this summer, but next summer.
Right.
If we choose to.
Yeah.
Cantor, I know he's signing with a new agent. I really don't see him opting out.
No.
I don't see him being guaranteed the amount of money he's gonna get paid staying for multiple years. Down the road. Right. So I think he's almost a lock. And I think he'll probably be our biggest trade asset with the expiring contract.
Yeah, he might be. Could be. A lot of things you can do with that expiring contract.
That's
if somebody,
a potential move.
If someone, let's just say, and people might bug out, if someone like Kyrie tells Boston and says, I don't think I'm coming back, trade me. You got a big trade chip right there, because then Boston will say, okay, we could trade, we'll make this trade, and then they free up $18 million. You never know.
A year early, right?
Huh?
They would potentially free the money up a year early.
Right. Well, I'm saying like, let's say it was the trade deadline next year. Right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is they would get Cantor, who would be coming off the books. And where Kyrie would be coming off the books the following year, so they'll have the money next summer.
I think Kyrie comes off the books in 2019, don't they? So yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah. Only if he's coming off the books the following year. Yeah. So I think Kyrie comes off the books in 2019 too. But I'm just using that as an example. If there's another player that they come off the books in 2020. And they said that they wanted to get traded or whatever it was, Cantor could come in as a big trade chip, because then you get that $18 million or whatever it is early, coming off in 2019 instead of 2020. Yeah.
So we're in a good position.
Mm-hmm.
It's really all about this draft.
Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen in this draft. And, moves can be made during the draft. I expect Scott Perry to be involved in a lot of things.
And one more quick touch up on the coaches. I'm a big fan of Mark Jackson. I'm also a big fan of Fizdale. I almost feel like Fizdale's the safer bet, safer choice. As far as all the controversy that people are speaking of with Mark Jackson, I honestly think he could get by on it, just being from New York and playing in New York and being familiar with the media. So I think it's a little bit overstated. But I think Fizdale is a little bit safer. Because he's pretty savvy with the media.
Right. And he brings, like we were talking about before, he brings that I think he brings a certain stature to the Knicks that matches Scott Perry. just the professionalism, and I think it brings a lot of respect.
And you know he's defensive.
Yeah.
You know, like
exactly.
That's his calling card.
Right.
And Stackhouse, you mentioned Stackhouse the other night. I started to think about that. I actually like Stackhouse too. Yeah. He's young. He's familiar with the game. I'm not gonna say so much of the younger players so much. But one thing for sure is if you know Stackhouse and you know his reputation, he is no nonsense. Like
right. Like, he's not
gonna get
I know
that by the players.
Right.
He's not gonna get disrespected.
Right.
Oh, so in that aspect, like he kind of intrigues me.
Yeah, and I think he deserves to. He's been paying his dues. He deserves to get a shot, to get an interview at least. Find out what he's about. Yeah,
at least I agree.
Yeah. Hey Tony, man, I'm about to head out because I done went later than I thought I was gonna go. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I appreciate the call as always. Thank you for the super chat. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I didn't get a chance to shout you out for it. And someone else I need a shout out. I'm about to go look it up. But I appreciate it, man.
No doubt, yo. Yo, Black, it's time, yo.
All
Once
right,
again.
bro. For sure. And my bad. I turned off the wrong thing. So now I got to explain myself all over one more time. My bad. I put myself on mute accidentally. You know what I'm saying? I muted myself. So what I was saying there is I wasn't actually saying that the Knicks, that Kyrie would want to leave the Celtics. I was just using that as an example to show how Kanter's expiring contract could be useful. I don't think Kyrie is going to want to leave the Celtics for the Knicks. I was just using that as an example. Look, people telling me to look up and everything. But so I was using it as an example, and it turned out to be a bad example because Kyrie actually expires in 2019. What I was trying to say is that if there's a player, let's say, expires in 2020, and they told their team that they wanted to be traded, the Knicks could step in and say, okay, we'll give you Kanter. If their salaries match, we take the player. You guys get freed up a little bit with your salary in 2019 instead of 2020. That was my point right there. So I wasn't trying to say that Kyrie was actually going to lead the Celtics to come to the Knicks. I was just trying to show how Kanter's contract could come into play to help to be used as a trade chip. That's all. I fully expect Kyrie Irving to stay with the Celtics. Yeah. Sorry about the sound thing. It's not going to happen again. Not going to happen again. But I'm about to get up out of here, to follow up with about Odell Beckham. I like Odell. I want Odell to be a Giant. I want him to be a New York Giant. But all the craziness, all the other stuff, it's got to go. It's got to stop. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand why the Giants would use those things against him. I can understand why the Giants would use those, all of his antics, any video that surfaced of him, doing cocaine with strippers or whatever. I would understand why you would use it against him to say, this is why we don't want to pay you, because we've got to deal with these type of antics, and it hurts our brand. The New York Giants have a stellar brand in the NFL. Stellar brand. One of the top organizations in the NFL. Even though they went 3-13 last year, one of the top organizations in the NFL. And the way the Giants roll is the organization over the player all the time. They are not going to, they're not going to let one player pull down the brand of the organization. You can't. Not when you're an organization like the New York Giants. I mean, no organization should anyway. But the Giants, Odell's got to, Emmanuel, you say he can't control the media, but he can control himself. He puts himself in situations, and maybe it's because he's young and still has to learn how to get out in front of stories and learn how to control the message. But he can control the message by not putting things out there, by not letting things get out there about himself. And how do you not let things get out there about yourself? You don't put yourself in situations that is going to that's going to hurt who you are. That's going to put you in a vulnerable position. That whole thing with Miami, that was dumb, in my opinion. Right? I think that was stupid. Okay, he went to Miami. So what? I think that was dumb. But all the other antics, he can control those things, and I think he needs to control it. He needs to be cool. He's emotional. I get that. I like that because he has a lot of fire, and that same emotion is what makes him be great on the field. Makes him be great on the field. But all the other things, talking to the net and doing all that wild stuff, getting mad and beating up the net. I mean, you just gotta, come on, Odell. You know what I'm saying? Get everything together. He's never been arrested. I don't know if that has, does that being arrested, does that have to be how low we have to go to say that we don't like a player's character? You know what I'm saying? Is that how low it has to go? I don't know. I hope not. I hope that's not how low we have to go. I think that, I personally think I get sick of seeing it all the time. You know what I'm saying? He scores a touchdown, so he pisses on the, acts like he's a dog pissing on the whatever. I feel like he's immature. Nah, man, it's not the media. I see it. I watch him, and I see it. I think he's immature, and I think he needs to mature. Like CP the artist said earlier, it's like T.O., Terrell Owens. Same type of antics. You know what I mean? And Terrell Owens was pretty much out of, out of trouble with the law and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm getting ready to get off here, man. I was late. I got some things I got to do. I'm over the hour longer than I thought. Thought I was gonna be on. Than I wanted to be on. But we'll have to catch up with it in the next. We'll catch up with it in the next show. I'm sure it'll be out. We'll still talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But I think Odell is really immature. And I think that he needs to mature. You know what I'm saying? He needs to mature. I'm not saying that the Giants should trade him, but I get really tired of seeing all the antics and all the garbage that I think is garbage. You know, and I think he needs to be more focused on just winning games, because when it came down to some serious football business, he didn't show up. You know, and if it was me, that would have humbled me real quick. It would have humbled me real quick. And I would have been like, you know what? Maybe I need to get my shit together. You know, so, I think he's got a lot to think about with it. You know, because, yeah, the media overblows some things, but he puts himself in a vulnerable position a lot of times to allow the media. He gives the media the pieces to go with. He gives the media, he feeds the media. He gives them the food to rock with. You know, I think that, I think he needs to pull back a little bit, calm down, just try to humble himself some. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to humble himself some. Yeah, it was one game, because in the NFL, one game, you're out. You play one game, you're out the playoffs. You know? I don't know. I think that, I just think he needs to grow up. I think he needs to humble himself and just keep his focus with football. I mean, look, he prepares to play football. He prepares his body, prepares himself. He comes, he works hard. He's always in shape. All those things. He's dynamic on the football field. But at some point, those other things are going to begin to overshadow what he does on the field. Maybe they haven't yet, but one day they will, just like it did with Terrell Owens. And people won't want to deal with him. And then, then it's going to hurt his career. Because at some point, people's going to say, you know what? We can add to the team by subtracting Odell. At some point, it'll get to that. I don't know if we're there right now. I'm not saying we're there right now, but, it can, I'm not saying we're there right now, but we're inching. But listen, I went on an hour and 38 minutes, cut off my own sound. That's how you know I went longer than I was supposed to go. I do want to give a shout out to Donald Cannon. You know what I'm saying? You said, I know it's not $100, but I appreciate your show. Hey, it don't matter. I appreciate you just being on and in the chat. Everybody. Donald, thank you. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be $100. It could be 1 cent. I don't care. It could be nothing. I appreciate you for showing up. Of course, Redoy, Raza, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm really, really appreciative of the $100 super chat. Tony Crow, appreciative. Really, really appreciative of the $5 super chat. Donald Cannon, I'm really, really appreciative of the $2 super chat. And then Siobhan Robertson, I'm really, really appreciative of the $7 super chats. And Siobhan, what I got to say, Siobhan has probably given me $100 in super chats. So I really, really want to give a big up to Siobhan, because he always hit me up every time he comes on. Thank you very much. Thank everybody, just for being on the chat, for real. You know what I'm saying? I thank everybody just for being here. But I'm out, and I will talk to you guys after the next game. Much love to everybody, man. Peace. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe below, ring the bell, get a notification anytime that I'm live. Join us on the next show. Let's talk New York Knicks and even some New York Giants. Peace.